source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by...
And Tiger Talk brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, Strain Beans Coffee House on Lower Main Street in Princeton, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Katy, it's delicious homemade goodness, and Perry's Floors and More.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
And good morning at 8:05 on this Wednesday. Welcome to Tiger Talk, and I have the pleasure of welcoming George Kilgore into the WPKY studios this morning on this cold morning. How are you?
It is cold out there.
Yeah, let me check here where we are. It is 10 degrees, and it feels like -4 with that wind blowing out there.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that.
Yeah, it's not, as you said, it's brutal out there.
It is brutal out. That wind blowing on you, it's got kind of cool even coming from the vehicle in.
Yeah, I hear you. I had to step out there a second ago. Well, welcome, and I appreciate you coming in.
I'm glad to be here.
We talked about all kinds of activities and things that you're involved in, and we're going to start out this morning to talk about you're very involved in your church, and
Yes.
especially with the senior adult group that you have there at First Baptist Church. Tell us a little bit about, just a little background on your involvement and what all your senior group does, and then we'll tell you what they've got involved in today.
All right. A few years ago, I was asked about taking a group of our senior adults just going on a little one-day trip, and I said, sure, we can do that. And during the course of that conversation that day, they said, how about us stopping and eating somewhere? So I said, well, I'm always up for stopping and eating. And so,
Why
of course, we made a pit stop to eat, and sitting around the table there, we was talking, and at that time the group was basically widows, right. And they was wanting to go to a funeral that day. We was out, I'd taken them to funerals on the way back, and they said, boy, it'd be nice just to get out and go eat every once in a while. We're some of us are getting where we don't want to drive, especially out of town or at night. What would you think about that? Excuse me. Would you be interested in doing some of that? I said, sure. And so that's kind of how we got started. And over the last few years, that started in 2012, I think. Been a few years back. Yeah. It's progressed into we do a monthly activity, and it may just be going out and eating. Right. Shortly after that first conversation, we'd been out 2 or 3 times, and one of them said, hey, would you be interested in doing it overnight with us? You know, it's been a long time since we just got out and done something, went somewhere overnight. So right. We did a first trip to the Smoky Mountains. It was a 3-day trip, just kind of start-out deal, and that went well. We started having devotion times during that and sharing, and it was just a really good experience. And throughout that time, we've expanded it to several overnight, whether it be a weekend. We just got back from our annual Christmas trip to the Opryland Hotel.
That's always a good trip.
It's a great time. And again, I said a lot of our group is widows or widowers, right. And Christmas time can be a lonely time when you don't have your family. We've just talked about that a while ago.
Definitely.
And whenever you look back at the way Christmas has been over the years, and for whatever reasons, it's not that way anymore. So we started doing a Christmas trip, and this one we've been rotating between Louisville at the Galt House and Nashville at the Opryland Hotel. We had 42 go this year.
Wow,
so.
That's a nice group. And that was an overnight deal?
It was a 2-night.
Two-night
3-day.
Wow.
3-day,
okay.
2-night deal.
So you did Nashville right around there, did a little shopping mainly
at
Opryland Hotel?
We stayed at the Opryland Hotel both nights.
That's
Diamond Rio Dinner Theater one night.
Wow.
And, they done an outstanding show. When you get to listening to their hits, they've had several #1 hits over the years.
Yeah, they have.
And then they went into a Christmas program that was just great.
And it's Nashville, I mean, there's a musician on every corner that can do it. And of course, Diamond Rio, they've hit it. They've been there. But I mean, that's always good.
Right. And one thing that's been a blessing to our church, whenever our pastor come, Brother Russ, first statement he started making, he said, anything we do as a church is not a First Baptist thing. God didn't come just for First Baptist. He come for everyone. And he said, anything we do, I want it to be open to anybody that'd like to be a part of it. So in 2014, we opened it up to the community, that anybody wanted to go, and that has been such a blessing.
That's great.
And a lot of times our groups will be about 50-50, 50% church members and 50% others. And that's ranged from Lyon County to Marion, even all the way to California one summer.
Wow.
One lady had a sister. He said, hey, she wants to come in. We want to do something together. Would it be all right? So she flew in from California to Princeton and rode back to Branson.
Wow. So y'all have you done a Branson trip?
We have done 2 Branson trips.
You've done 2 Branson trips.
We've done 2 Branson trips, a couple of Smoky Mountains. Went to Florida one year to the Holy Land Experience at Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I bet that was cool. Have you done, I guess you've done the Ark.
Yes, we did that this last year. Went up to the Ark and Creation Museum, and we do one week-long, we call our big trip, and all those we're talking about has been the big trips. And this last year, we toured Kentucky, went up the Ark. It was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I think I've seen, I keep track of you guys on Facebook. Now, I got to ask, this is the big question. Have you done Star Wars Last Jedi trip yet?
We have not.
Oh, well, that one's kind of dear to my heart. I'm sorry, George.
We have not done that. Kind of along that, this last year when Benji graduated, I took him and a couple of his buddies to Kings Island.
I remember, I've seen that, yeah.
And somebody said, well, you're going to take the senior adults to Kings Island. I said, we did that in the Great Wolf Lodge. I said, well, that might not be an activity that this group would be interested in, but you'd be surprised.
Yes. And that's what's cool about these kind of trips because, we were talking about this Christmas time, but you consider if you're active and having a good time with friends and just having that fellowship, your mind's another place.
Oh,
so there's no time to fret about, things that you might not want to sit around, you're sitting around by yourself. So that's part of the wonderful aspect of this.
Yeah, the year we went to Florida, we went to the Holy Land Experience. It's not a theme park, but it's a recreation facility, a Christian oriented. And when we was planning on going, somebody said, are we going to the beach? I said, to the beach? I said, really?
Yeah.
And someone said, we want to go to the beach.
Jump on I-4 and head on to Daytona?
We went to Cocoa Beach one day.
Yeah, that's
and you would be surprised how many of our senior adults, they got out there on that beach. They get set them up a tent. They walked up and down through there. And
you're that close, you might as well go.
Yes.
Just a short trip down 50 to Cocoa.
Exactly. So what I have found out, that senior adults are no different than any other person, whether they be teenagers or, like you said a while ago, people like to enjoy each other's company, get out and do things. And the good thing about this is we're so many that couldn't on their own because of restrictions of driving. And also we do it, it's not a money making, you can find trips and do trips with lots of different companies, but of course they're there to make money. Our church project is a ministry.
Right.
To senior adults, and it costs what we pay.
Are you the travel agent, or do you have someone, like when you went to Florida, did you take the bus, or do you fly?
We went charter bus, and I drove that.
Yeah, because you have all those credentials.
And I plan them. You can go through companies, but again, sometimes that costs extra to do that.
So you set everything up and kind of
set it up.
That's neat.
The good thing, whenever I do travel with the charter companies with other groups, I see places and things and
get ideas.
Yes, to bring back. But it's been really good. And one thing I've noticed, people that have never met each other before, whether they're even in this town. We're in a small community, but there's people that don't know each other in Caldwell County and Lyon County.
There is.
Whenever they meet, I've heard stories shared of being at Walmart or shopping somewhere, a restaurant, run into them and just stand and talk about the experiences they've had. So This last trip we went to Opryland, we had 3 or 4 that had never been with us before. So it's not like you've got to go every time. We have some that want to go, but there's conflicts. You can't ever schedule it where everybody can do. But, and anyone's welcome to join us. As I said, Brother Russ, he said, it's not about First Baptist, and we don't want it to be about that. We've had various denominations and various churches. Every year on our big trip, we kind of take a survey of how many different churches we have here, how many different denominations or non-denominationals.
That's fantastic. That is really cool.
It's been a good ministry for us, and like I said, anyone's welcome to come be a part of it. We the last couple of years, we've been to the National Quartet Convention singing in Pigeon Forge, and that's turned out well for us, and had good response on that. Again, sometimes we just go out and eat, but we do a lot of maybe a one-night trip or 2 or 3 day trip or our big long one in the summer. And we have a Facebook page. It's Princeton First Baptist Church Princeton, and I have everything listed on that as we're planning them.
I think I hear a train coming.
I think I do. I'm hoping it stays over there.
Yeah, it's rolling around the bend.
It's getting loud.
Let's take a break while the train's coming.
Sure.
And this is a great conversation we're having about the senior adults at First Baptist Church. And we'll take a break, let the train get through.
Sure.
We'll come back, and you all have something going on today.
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk more about that as we come back. You're listening to Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station. George Kilgore in studio this morning from First Baptist Church, the senior adult group, among other things we're going to talk about coming up. Stay tuned to Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger.
String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks. Stop by Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to noon and enjoy a pick-me-up. You can also enjoy fresh-baked scones, homemade chocolate chip and oatmeal raisin cookies, and espresso brownies that'll keep you going all day long. They're also open on Saturday from 9 to 2. String Beans Coffee House on Lower Main in Princeton. Great coffee and more in a great atmosphere on Lower Main in downtown Princeton.
And we're back on Tiger Talk, Ty Engelbright in studio with George Kilgore from the Princeton First Baptist Church, the senior adult group, and we've been talking about their trips that they take and their ministry, and it's really, really a cool thing, George. And of course today down at the the First Baptist Church Christian Life Center.
Yes.
There we go, got it right. The Life Center. You have partnered with your senior adults, partnered with Caldwell Igniting Voices.
Yes.
To do their forum, which is only about 45 minutes long. But tell us about how you got connected with Janie Tomic and that Caldwell Igniting Voices group.
Janie Tomic, first of all, is a member of our church also.
Yes.
And they had a session at City Hall one night at the Tourism Center, and I went to that to participate. And during the conversation that night, she said, what would you think about maybe your senior adult group? She said, I know they're active. There's several involved in it. And it's not only First Baptist, it's community-wide and area-wide. We need some input from senior adults on this. And I know it's been talked about a lot on the radio and in the papers. Everybody's kind of familiar with it. They're gathering ideas of what people like about the community, what they would like to see continue, or maybe some changes they would like to see. And she said, we really haven't had a lot of feedback from senior adults. And she said, I was just thinking what a great opportunity that might be that we partner together. So we looked at different dates. And Christmas season was coming up and so many things going on. And then she said, we'd really like to wrap it up around by the first of the year. So we looked at our schedules, and today would work out for that. It's going to be at 11 o'clock at our Christian Life Center. As you said, about 45 minutes on that. And what I've told our people is that, you can speak if you want to. You can write things down, or if you just want to sit and listen.
Yeah,
there's it's very informal. It's
sure
nobody's puts you on the spot and says you've got to say this or that. And it gives I had one lady say, well, I'm not going to be around too much future of the community.
Right.
I said, but your ideas could live on.
No, you're exactly right.
Your ideas and your input could live on. So, and I know today it's still, quote, Christmas season. And I had several comments on Facebook last night. I'd love to be there, but.
Right.
But if you can, come on out and be a part of it. Again, it's not just for First Baptist. It's not just for Baptist. Anybody that would like to, and it doesn't even have to be senior adults.
You don't have to be a senior, yeah. I'm just saying, if you want to just participate, it's a chance to do so.
Right, and I think the Bible teaches that Christians are supposed to be a part, to be a part of the community, to make things better, to interact and show Christ's love and his just what he is, and this is a good way to do that.
Sure.
Everything that we do is a senior adult group. We do have some worshiping and some praise, but it's not just necessarily. We've been to some country activities. We've been like the Diamond Rio, different things. Going to the beach. I don't know if that's considered exactly religious, but in a way it is.
Sure, it is.
Everything is from God and the opportunities that He presents to us.
Enjoy that, sure.
But today at 11 o'clock, and our group, we like to go out and eat. So anybody that's there after it's over with, it's going to be about lunchtime. So
let's go eat.
Just going to gather up and say, hey, where we want to go, and go somewhere locally here, not drive a long way or anything like that.
That's great.
But we want to encourage anyone to come out and be a part of this. It's a good way to express your opinion. And the old saying, everybody's got an opinion.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And a lot of times, I'm as guilty as anybody else. We sit back and say, well, I wish this would happen, or I don't like that. But this is a way to do it in a productive way without being critical, without trying to tear anything down, but just being productive, giving insight of what you would like to see. And they record all of that, not verbally. There's not a
No,
like
they
a
send
recorder.
all that data to
Right.
UK, and they're going to compile it, and they'll
Yes.
come back with a report sometime after the first of the year.
Right,
Yeah.
and it comes back to the leadership of the community, and then they have an idea
Yes.
of what this community wants. So it's a good opportunity for anybody in this community that hasn't been a part. I know we was talking that different clubs have done it, different communities. They've had some open sessions, but this is a chance for just anyone, whether you're a senior adult or not. Our senior adult ministry is sponsoring it, partner with it, but it's open to anyone that would like to be a part of it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
if you're hearing us and you say, "Well, I'd like to," at least go check it out. It's very interesting. I participated in one of them, and it's very informative. You get to hear a lot of different views of things, but there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
There's just and you don't, and like George says, you don't really have to say anything. You get a piece of paper, you can write stuff down, and this data is just compiled. So
Yeah. And it'll be warm in there.
it will be warm in there. Boy, oh boy, you got a few minutes. You got to get from your car and walk in there. But boy, it's the cold weather's here. Wintertime has
is.
shown up. Christmas time, wintertime, it is here. Boy,
And
it's,
until you come in and see our Christian Life Center.
Oh, it's
It's
beautiful.
there for anybody. It's open Monday through Friday for people to walk in. So
Yes.
if you've driven by and say, hey, I wonder what's in that building, come in and check it
Can
out.
people still walk while the
Yes.
forum's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause they walk up above, right?
You can walk up on the top, or there's I don't know what the term for it is, a breezeway or whatever up
Okay.
on top. You can walk, or you can walk around the lower level.
level.
It's opened up to every Monday through Friday for people to stop by. So again, that's another opportunity to stop by and look around. Say, hey,
Yeah.
I've never been in there. What's
It's a
going
great
on?
facility. It really is, and that's so cool that the your senior adults and the folks there are saying, hey, let's participate in this as well. And again, if you're listening, it doesn't. You don't have to be a senior adult. They just have used that platform to get folks there, but it could be anybody. But they
Sure.
definitely want to hear what some of that demographic has to say about our community.
Exactly, and we're glad to do that. We want to be a part, and we're trying to be a part of this community and involve anyone and everyone. And this is just another way that we can explore that possibility.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's shift gears now. We'll come back to that before we wrap up. You're a member of Princeton Optimist Club.
Have been for a long time.
Yes, and as you guys had, great black patch this year. Wonderful black patch.
We
We're
was
reflecting
pleased
back.
with it.
Yeah.
Yes, and as we said every year during Black Patch time, you can always learn, and I think we did. We took. Again, kind of goes back in correlation to what we're talking about today, giving insight and input and what you would like to see. We've had that happen, and we try to take that in for the Black Patch activity for the Optimist Club, the way that I'm assuming and hoping this Igniting Voices will do for our community. People can express their opinion. We take it, and some things you can use and change, some things that doesn't work.
Right.
And we tried to make some changes this year. We were pleased with it. As with anything, we're looking at different things to do next year. Next year's about here.
Boy, I tell you, it is. I mean, it'll be it'll be all that will be here before we know it. It's just time just clicks away,
And
and it
it's
clicks away.
always
fast.
the Saturday after Labor Day.
Yes.
There's questions on that. It's the Saturday
It
after
always is that. Yeah.
Saturday after Labor Day. But Black Patch is one of our big activities, and we do this last Christmas. Well, I say last Christmas. A couple of weeks ago, we had a Christmas luncheon for Pinnaroll Industries,
yes.
and had a really good day out there.
Y'all do pizza and all that for
pizza
them,
and
don't you?
drinks,
Yeah.
and just a good time. And the
I know they
workers there,
appreciate that.
and we look forward to that. So
And that's
just
an every
different-
year thing too.
It's
isn't it?
yes, we do that every year.
Scholarships.
Scholarships for
Youth of our
Caldwell and Lyon
And
County.
Lyon County,
This
yeah.
last year, we started with a full 4-year scholarship at Lyon County also. So
Great.
we do have a lot of businesses there that support us in our radio auction and different things like that, which I'd like to talk about in a few minutes on
Sure,
that.
sure.
The basketball tournament is starting tomorrow. The hoops, we help
West Kentucky
sponsor
Hoops
that.
Classic, yes.
Yes, just lots of
You help us out here at
activities.
WPKY with some of our events as well. So
Well,
appreciate
we
that,
try
yeah.
to. You're good about helping us too. So.
It's a good relationship.
But we, we offer assistance to youth activities throughout the year, and we're glad to do that. We was on the air and talked to you about the gospel singing we had on
Yes.
November the 30th, the McCameys. And on a side note with that, Ty, I don't know if you've seen our post on that. Peg McCamey has had some health issues
Oh,
since
did
they
not know
left here.
that.
In fact, I seen a post this morning. She's in surgery today,
Oh, good.
some heart surgery, some
Keep her in our
bypass
prayers,
surgery.
yeah.
So, if you was there at that concert,
She's a pistol.
tonight, she is that. Very entertaining, but very sincere. Gets the
She feels it.
Yes, gets the group into it, and we had so many positive comments after that concert that night.
That was a good get.
The church was pretty much full. We
Full,
had
yeah.
about 325 there. Couldn't have been any pleased. We was
With the turnout.
completely pleased with the turnout.
Sure.
Yes, but they posted that last week that she, I think it was bypass surgery,
Okay.
and it was posted this morning that she was. So I'm sure she's in surgery right now.
Okay.
So we do want to remember
Sure.
her and that family, servant of God that's been faithful, and it just goes to show us we all have things come in our life.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
And one of her main songs is God of the Mountain, and is the same God in the valleys. So we're trusting that and praying for her today. But
No doubt.
a lot of good activities that the Optimist Club is a part of. Our big fundraiser that allows us to do our activities throughout the year is our radio auction. And it's coming up. I think we've kind of set the dates of the
19th through the 23rd,
23rd
yeah,
of
tentatively set.
March.
But pretty well set there, I think, from what every indication is.
Right.
Part of that we have to coordinate that with sports schedules, the radio, and all kinds of things. So
The school building to
buildings
have it
yeah,
in and all,
so,
but we're in
and
the process.
of that. Yeah, so that's kind of what the dates are that
March the 19th through 23rd. We've had that at various dates over the years. It used to be spring break
always,
all the time.
yeah.
And then we got in a situation, people saying, boy, I wanted to be a part of that, but I was on spring break.
A lot of people
I
go.
wasn't in
Yeah.
town. And so we've varied away from that, but that is our basic fundraiser for the year. Everything that we do comes from the funds that comes from the radio auction. And I mentioned Lyon County, our scholarship there. We do have businesses in Lyon County that helps us out with our radio auction, and also our local businesses.
Yes.
We can't say thank you enough for that. As a general rule, when we go out and go to collecting, people say, oh, yeah, the radio auction, we want to be a part of that. And it's not just a straight donation. They get some advertising.
Yes.
Through the radio here, we
Yeah.
talk about that and try to promote every business or individuals. We've had different clubs that make donations. And one thing that we really haven't made a lot of announcements with this year, we're going to make some changes in the radio auction. We talked about the changes that we've had in the Black Patch. The world and everything we do is a constant changing
Yes.
thing.
You
and-
got to be able to adapt to change.
Right. And this year, I guess, a few months ago, an organization, a group that you are a part of, the Kiwanis Club, contacted the Optimist Club and said, hey, would y'all like some help with the radio auction? And, of course, our response is, what kind of help are we looking at? And won't go through all the details, but through some meetings and sitting down and talking, the Optimist Club is going to continue with the radio auction as we always have. It's been a mainstay and tradition with our local community to have the Princeton Optimist Club radio
And
auction.
that's what it is, the Princeton Optimist Club radio
Yes,
auction.
and we're like so many other groups and organizations. Our numbers are not as they have been in the past.
As is the Kiwanis Club.
And we talked about it earlier. When Roy Jean and I are the youngest one in the bunch, basically, it's pretty rough.
Right.
So,
that's exactly. I mean, I'm not going there, but
there you go.
Just laughing a little bit, just chuckling.
But we thought, we could use some help with that. And after talking to the Kiwanis Club, as Ty said, their numbers are maybe not as many as they have been in the past, and they said, we'd like to come in and help y'all. And what they have offered to do is help us collect items to be sold, be there and help during the radio auction, whether it be on the air or just anything that's needed during that time. And you might want to address that.
I'm an Optimist member as well.
Yes.
And so I get to go between two clubs. But, I know last year was it was a strain for everybody in the Optimist Club, as we were there all the nights to put it on the air. But, it takes people to run the board down there, to take the calls, to field. And, you just didn't have – you struggled to get all that done because you just didn't have – used to in the glory days of the Optimist Club, you'd have 40, 50 members down there. And, I mean, there were people standing around. There were guys out cooking chickens on the parking lot that were club members. It was a club cook. You had 10 to 15 out there, and then you had, probably another 20, 25 inside.
Yes, exactly.
You had 7 or 8 last year.
Right, and I think it's every organization, every club. People are just so busy.
Yeah,
they have so many activities going on, but the Kiwanis Club said, "Hey, we'll be glad to help with that." And of course, from the Optimist Club standpoint, we're after sitting and talking, we're excited about this adventure.
Yeah.
And
it's an experiment, basically.
Yes,
what this
we're
is.
going to try it and
Just
see how it goes. And of course, the Kiwanis, we feel like if they come in and help us with it, that some of the proceeds and all, we want to share with them because
we do the same thing. We support our scholarships to the all this funding goes back to the youth of the community.
Yes, and it is for the community.
Yep.
Everything the Kiwanis Club does too. And so, of course, whenever it's all said and done, we're going to sit down and make some type of financial, monetary contribution to the Kiwanis Club and say, hey, thanks for your help. Yep. We appreciate that. But we're hoping that it will expand our radio auction because members of the Kiwanis Club might have some different contacts and be able to get some different type of items than we've been able to get from the Optimist Club. And quite honestly, there are businesses and individuals here in Princeton that we haven't ever been able to make contact with because of time and manpower. Right. And if we could just get more donations and from different businesses and people here in town, it will help. And again, all this goes back to the youth and community activities. Plus, people get some good deals during the radio auction.
They do. I mean, there's a lot of times there are so many items that we have to move that you just got to move them along, whatever the bid is. And so, we are so appreciative of the folks that donate those items. But they know that, they might, somebody is going to come in, but they don't really know sometimes what they sell for.
Right.
But for the most part, people get a substantial reduction in the value of the item.
What I found, a lot of people like to listen to it also.
Oh, man, it's a fun, festive time.
It
really is.
After the radio auction each year, I've had some people, well, we listened to you. I said, I don't remember you buying nothing. He's like, well, we didn't bid on anything, but we sure enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, it's an event. It really is. It's a fun event. I mean, I have great memories of it. It's fun to be a part of.
The good thing about that, even if they didn't buy anything, if they was listening, the businesses still get that advertisement.
They do. Sure.
Even though they might not have bought, they might like, well, okay, so-and-so sells
They've
this.
got this,
well, next time I need that, or we're selling a food item, they might think, ooh, that sounds pretty good. I might just run out there and do that.
And a lot of times, the fun thing about the auction is we get to sample all that food. A lot of those restaurants and participants let us sample that
and
stuff.
we are open to that.
we are open to that. We got to sample a lot of good wares last year.
Yes, but
and every year they.
Oh, exactly. But the radio auction, again, it's the Optimist Club radio auction. Yep. It will continue to be that. The Kiwanis Club still has their activities that they do annually. They have the pancake breakfast and different.
Basically, just us helping you out.
Yes, they've offered to help, and we're going to try it.
Yeah,
and see. A person that's not open trying things that would make things better is someone's going to fail. So
Yeah.
we're open to that possibility. We're moving forward with it. In fact, we had a joint meeting a week or so ago with the two clubs, and we'll do that again
Do a
in
couple more here.
January
Yep.
to prepare for that. So people in the community, if you're, we're still open. If somebody says, "Hey, I want to come help," be a
Yeah.
part of that, help you collect, help you work, come on down. We'll be glad.
The more
to.
the merrier.
Exactly. But
Yep.
we're excited about that.
We are, and again, that is the 19th through the 23rd of March. So that's a little
Yes.
earlier than we had it last
It
year.
is.
And it sort of works out with sports schedules
Mhm.
and different things that are going on to kind of try to fit it in that week. So, yeah, it's going to be great, and I think we'll see good things from the
I
Office
do
Club
too.
Radio Auction this year. I really do.
We're looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get back to. Thanks for shifting gears with us for a minute.
Sure.
Let's get back here to today's event. Again, that
Okay.
is going to be at 11 o'clock down at the First Baptist Christian Life Center.
Yes.
Open
Don't have to
forum.
pre-register. Just show up and be there. And Janie will be. I'm just going to be there to open the door and say, "Come in."
Yeah,
Uh,
and
but,
stay in, keep everybody warm.
Yeah, but Janie Tomic and her crew, I should
Okay.
say, are going to be conducting it, and it's the same one that they've done in other places and other times.
Right.
And come on down, be a part of that. And as far as just our general ministry of senior adults, anyone is welcome. After the first year, and we start working on our annual trip, our summer trip. It's a week-long trip that we'll be doing.
You're not going to reveal it yet? You
I
have
haven't.
an idea? You don't know?
I've got some ideas, but
Okay.
nothing to put
So
out there
it's a
yet.
week-long deal.
It's a week-long
Wow.
deal. It's usually 5 or 6 days, and we charter bus and go different places, and got to look at finances and
Sure.
what's available. But what we'll do is go ahead and announce that probably in January or February. Give people time, because there's some expense to that. And
Yes.
senior adults, sometimes they like to, well, it's not maybe not like to, sometimes they're required to set aside some money to be able to do things like that. So we want to give people plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
But again, it's open to anyone and everyone in our community to be a part of it.
Do you put together a package so it's like a one all-inclusive price, and they just have their
Except their meals.
Except their meals
Yeah,
and
some meals, if
spending
it's
money.
a dinner theater, are included with it. But basically, the package that we offer would be the transportation, the hotel accommodations based on 2 per room,
Right.
and then whatever activities we're doing. And sometimes people will say, "Okay, I've got a partner I want to travel with." This last time we had some people, some folks that said, "I'd like to go, but I don't have anybody to go with me," and we'll pair
Just
them.
pair
with
'em
some,
up.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
that's a
it's-
good way to get to learn and
Yes.
get to meet people and become friends with people
Yeah,
that
so
you might not be. That's pretty neat.
If you, well, I don't have anybody to travel with. Well, we can work with
Maybe
that
fix
too.
you up.
Yes,
You know,
on
with,
that.
with a nice person to partner with, and
Sure.
there's a new friend there.
Right, and we say our senior adults, just to have an age thing, we start at 55 and up.
Okay.
We do have some younger folks that travel with us, because some of our senior adults need to have a helper
You need a helping hand
to
don't
go
they?
with them.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing, requirements, I guess, from our trips. You do have to be able to be self-sustaining,
Right.
because we can't provide somebody to be a
understand.
personal assistant
Right.
on that. But you're welcome to bring somebody with you that fits that category,
Right.
whether it's a family member or somebody that you pay to stay
Caregiver
with
or
you.
whatever,
Yes,
yeah.
on that. But we try to work that out. Our church is, as far as price-wise, we charge what it cost us.
Mhm.
And it goes into the church account. Then we write one check and pay for it that way. Our church does have a budget for our senior adults that we do a discount for our members. It still costs the same, but it comes out of the church budget. So
Gotcha.
we're not using guest people to pay our way or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
But there is a difference in the amount. But the amount is what it actually costs, and we take some out of our church budget for each trip. That may be, depending on the length of the trip, it may be $5, it may be $50 a person.
Okay.
It's less, but it's whatever we have in the budget to work with.
Awesome. Well, that's really a cool ministry that you have going there, and you guys just enjoy it and just have a good time.
And if you have any
good stuff.
questions, just
Yeah.
give me a
Yeah, I
holler.
was going to say, go ahead and throw your number out there.
Yeah, it's 625-3427. And again, it's always, we usually try to have it on the radio and in the paper, our
Right.
activities we've got going. It's always posted on our Facebook page. And First Baptist Church, it's a group set up there, and you do not have to be a member to join
it is
that.
just First Baptist Church?
First Baptist Church Princeton.
First Baptist Church Princeton.
Yeah,
okay, that's on Facebook.
Yes,
Okay.
on Facebook. It's a group there. There is a page that the church puts out, but then there's a group page that you can join, and everyone's welcome to be a part of that. That way you have a firsthand information as it comes out.
Right. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much
glad to be here.
for leading that group and informing us a little bit more about it. You know, you see pictures in the paper, you see posts on Facebook, and it's good to, for somebody might say, well, I want to know more about that.
Sure.
So that's why I had you in today, and appreciate you to take the time on this cold morning to come in and tell us about that.
Glad to be here.
And all the other good things that are going on that you're involved in the community. So
Well,
thank you so much for what you do.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, that's going to wrap up this edition of Tiger Talk on this cold Wednesday morning. George Kilgore in studio. George is a longtime member of the Princeton Hospice Club, and he also leads the senior adult ministry at First Baptist Church in Princeton. They are having a open forum for Caldwell Igniting Voices today. Again, you do not have to be a senior. You can just go down and participate if you want to. They're just sponsoring that, and that's at the Christian Life Center at 11 o'clock. It'll take about 45 minutes, and then after that, they're going to go eat somewhere local, so that's a good thing. So go down and participate that if you're interested, and you'll be greeted with a smile, and it'll be a good time, I assure you. So thanks to George.
Thank you.
And everyone have a good day. You've been listening to Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station, 103.3 FM and 1580 AM, WPKY The Tiger. It is 8:40. Have a good day, everybody.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh